Captain Daniel Brooks stood on the observation deck of the orbital station, outside the wide glass. The black of space stretched endlessly. Stars shone like tiny diamonds, and the blue curve of Earth hung quietly below. Daniel had seen the planet thousands of times from orbit, but now it felt different. Today was not about looking at his home. Today was about facing something he had never faced before. He was waiting for the Zolari Queen. The Zolari were one of the most powerful alien species in the galaxy. They were tall, strong, and intelligent. They had ruled hundreds of worlds for centuries. Humans had only recently reached their level of space travel, and most Zolari thought humans were dangerous only in small ways. They did not expect a human to face their queen without fear. Daniel took a deep breath. He could feel the tension in his chest, the weight of responsibility. He was the captain of the Liberty, one of Earth's newest starships. He was here as a representative of humanity. Every move he made, every word he spoke, could decide the future of Earth. The airlock doors opened with a hiss. A group of Zolari guards entered first. They were tall and armored, their helmets shaped like the heads of some predator from ancient Earth stories. Their eyes glowed faintly through the visor. Daniel noticed how precise their movements were. They moved like one body, not many individuals. Every step, every turn, was perfectly timed. And then she came. Queen Alira stepped through the doors. She was taller than any human woman, taller than most men. Her skin was silver blue, smooth and shining faintly. She wore armor that looked alive. It flowed around her body, glowing with faint light, pulsing slowly like it had a heartbeat of its own. Daniel had read about the armor in the reports. The living armor could respond to the wearer's emotions and protect them in battle. It was said that nothing could pierce it. Daniel's heart beat faster, but he forced himself to stand straight. He smiled slightly, almost without thinking, and said, "That armor looks amazing on you." The guards stiffened immediately. They glanced at each other with sharp, alert movements. It was clear they did not expect a human to speak to the queen in such a casual way. Some of them even looked ready to attack. But the queen did not look angry. She tilted her head, studying him. Her eyes were deep and bright, like twin pools of liquid metal. Then she smiled. It was a small smile, almost playful. "Oh, really, human," she said. Her voice smooth, calm, and with a hint of amusement. Daniel felt a strange heat rise to his cheeks. He knew he had said something bold, but he also saw something in her expression: curiosity. The queen, who had commanded fleets of ships and conquered worlds, seemed interested in a human's words. The tension in the room was thick. The guards were watching him carefully, but he held their gaze. He realized in that moment that fear might be one of the only weapons humans had. Not strength or size, just courage. Queen Alira stepped closer. Her armor made soft humming sounds as it moved. Daniel could feel the energy in the room shift. He noticed details he had not seen before: the way the armor seemed to change color slightly as she moved, how the light reflected off her skin, and the calmness in her voice. She was a predator, but also something more. "I have heard much about humans," she said, "but I did not expect one to speak so freely." Daniel swallowed. He wanted to say something clever, something that would impress her. Instead, he said, "Humans are not shy about speaking. We speak even when it's dangerous. Maybe that is why we survive." The queen tilted her head again. "Interesting," she said. "Your kind has survived long enough to build fleets, to reach the stars. Yet you are still young, still small compared to the galaxy." Daniel nodded slowly. "We know we are small, Your Majesty, but we grow, we learn, we fight when we must." The queen's expression softened slightly. She glanced at her guards and then back at him. "Courage, then, is the measure of your kind?" Daniel shrugged. "It is one measure. We are not perfect. We make mistakes, but we keep moving forward, no matter the odds." The queen stepped back slightly, signaling her guards to relax. They did. Though their eyes remained alert, Daniel noticed that even the guards seemed uneasy around him, as if they sensed the human's determination. For several minutes, they stood in silence. The queen's gaze was fixed on him, analyzing, judging. Daniel felt exposed, as if she could see every thought and memory in his mind. He thought about his family back on Earth, his crew, and all the people who had trusted him with this mission. He thought about the history of humans, the wars they had fought, the planets they had explored. He thought about Earth itself, fragile but alive. Finally, the Queen spoke again. "You will come with me to my ship. There are things I want you to see, things that may test your courage." Daniel blinked. He had expected a formal meeting, negotiations, and maybe a demonstration of power. He had not expected an invitation or a challenge. "I will go," he said, keeping his voice steady. "If it is for peace between our worlds, I will go." She inclined her head. "Very well. But know this, human, the tests you face are not simple. They are not games. Many who have tried have failed." Daniel's stomach tightened, but he held his ground. "Then I will try and succeed. That is all I can do." The Queen turned, her armor glowing brighter as she moved. Daniel followed, stepping carefully past the guards. The airlock led to a large shuttle that would take them to her ship. He noticed the sleek design of the shuttle, alien and beautiful, with glowing lines running along the hull. It seemed alive, just like her armor once inside the shuttle. Daniel took a seat and strapped himself in. He glanced at the Queen, who remained standing. She did not sit. She had no need. Her presence filled the cabin, commanding attention without effort. The shuttle lifted off, moving silently through the station. Daniel felt the hum of the engines. Smooth and steady, the stars outside seemed to stretch and blur as they left the station behind. Earth shrank slowly, a small blue dot among countless others. Daniel tried to calm his mind. He thought about what lay ahead, the unknown ship, the unknown challenges. But he reminded himself of something his father had told him once: courage is not the absence of fear, it is acting despite fear. The shuttle docked with the Zolari vessel without warning. Daniel had expected a long docking sequence, alarms, or some complex procedure. But the door opened smoothly, and he was faced with the vast interior of the ship. The walls glowed faintly, alive with energy, and creatures moved with fluid, precise motion. The ship was huge, almost alive, and Daniel could feel its power vibrating through the floor. The Queen led him down long corridors, the walls pulsing in time with her armor. He noticed other humans who had come before him, or perhaps captives. He could not tell. Some looked defeated, some looked curious, none spoke. All eyes seemed drawn to her, then to him. Finally, they entered a large chamber. It was empty except for a raised platform in the center. The walls were lined with alien symbols that Daniel could not understand, glowing softly. He realized that this room was made for trials, not meetings. The Queen stepped onto the platform and turned to him. "This is where you will begin," she said. "Your courage, your mind, and your will be tested here. If you fail, you will leave my world only in memory." Daniel swallowed hard. The challenge was real. He felt fear, but also determination. He would face whatever came next. He had to. Humanity depended on it. He stepped forward onto the platform, looking the Queen in the eyes. She smiled faintly, almost warmly, and said, "Let us begin, human. Show me what your kind is capable of." Daniel nodded. He did not know what lay ahead. But he knew one thing. He would not back down. He would not falter. He would face the trial, whatever it was, because that was what humans did. And in that moment, in the quiet hum of the alien ship, a human and an alien queen began something that would change the galaxy forever. The platform glowed beneath his feet. The air seemed to shimmer, and Daniel felt a strange energy flowing around him. He did not understand it, but he did not need to. All he needed was courage. All he needed was resolve. The Queen watched, her eyes bright. "Step forward, human," she said softly, "and let the test begin." Daniel's heart pounded. He took a deep breath, and then he stepped forward into the unknown. The chamber shifted. The floor glowed brighter, and strange patterns appeared on the walls. Daniel felt the air change around him. It was warmer, heavier, almost like the room itself was alive. Queen Alira's eyes watched him carefully. She stood tall, her living armor pulsing softly with light, reflecting her calm but alert energy. "This is the Shadow Arena," she said. "Here, you will face your fears. Only those who can walk through their fears, without hesitation, are worthy to learn the strength of the Zoleri." Daniel looked around. The platform under his feet extended and curved, forming a wide path. The walls shifted, showing dark, moving shadows. Shapes and figures he could not recognize crawled along the edges. The air smelled faintly metallic, like a storm before lightning. His heart beat faster, but he reminded himself courage was moving forward even when afraid. "What do I have to do?" he asked, trying to keep his voice steady. "You must walk," the queen said. "Step by step. You will see things. They are not real, but they will feel real. If you run, if you panic, the arena will consume you." Daniel nodded and took his first step. The floor felt solid, but the shadows seemed to reach for him. The lights dimmed, and suddenly he saw a scene before him, Earth burning. Cities were gone, smoke rising into a red sky. He could hear screams, feel the heat of fire, and see people running in terror. He froze. The image was so real it made him shiver. But then he remembered something his mother had told him long ago. Fear is only a shadow. You cannot let it decide your steps. He moved forward. Each step was harder than the last. The shadows tried to push him back, showing images of failure, of pain, of loss. He saw his family on Earth, his sister trapped in the fire, his father calling for help, neighbors running without hope. It felt like a nightmare, but he kept walking. Queen Alira watched silently. Her face was unreadable, but Daniel could feel her attention. The arena reacted to the mind. It sensed fear, hesitation, doubt. Every time Daniel wavered, the shadows grew taller, closer, darker. But every time he took a firm step, the shadows seemed to shrink. Then he heard a voice. It was not Alira's. It sounded like his own, echoing in the chamber. "You cannot save them. You are weak. You are human. You will fail." Daniel shook his head. "I will not listen to you," he said aloud, as if defying himself would make the voice go away. The arena pulsed angrily, images of collapse and despair flashing faster around him. A sudden movement caught his eye. From the shadows emerged alien soldiers, Zoleri warriors, tall and armed, attacking him. Their eyes glowed red, and their weapons were strange and deadly. Daniel dodged, rolled, and swung with his fists, but they passed through him. He realized they were illusions, yet every strike felt real. His body ached, his muscles burned, but he did not stop. "You are stronger than I expected," Alira said. "Few humans can face even their own fears, much less the fears of others." Daniel did not answer. He kept moving. Another image appeared, his ship, the Liberty, being destroyed by an unknown fleet. His crew was screaming. He felt guilt, anger, helplessness, but he refused to collapse under it. He pushed forward, forcing his legs to move, forcing his mind to focus. The arena changed again. Shadows of Earth's enemies appeared, creatures and soldiers who had attacked humans before. Daniel's mind raced. He saw the wars, the battles, the pain humans had suffered. The images tried to crush him, but he remembered his training, remembered every lesson in survival and courage. He fought through the illusions, using every skill he had learned. Then something unexpected happened. The arena shifted again, showing Queen Alira in danger. She was surrounded by flames, her armor cracking under the weight of attacks. Daniel's breath caught. He knew she was not real, but the arena wanted him to care. The queen, who seemed untouchable, seemed vulnerable. Without thinking, he ran forward. He reached her, raised his hand, and a wave of light from the arena blocked the attacks. The queen's armor healed slightly in response. Daniel realized that his determination could affect the environment, that his courage could protect her even in illusion. "You see," she said, "humans are not like other species. You fight even for others, not just yourself. That is rare. That is why you survive where others would fall." The illusions changed again, this time showing a different fear, loss of control. The ship around them transformed into darkness. Daniel could not see the floor, the walls, or even the queen. He felt himself falling into emptiness, weightless, alone. Panic tried to rise, but he focused on one thing: Moving forward, he took a step, then another. Each step grounded him in reality. He imagined Earth, his crew, his family, and his friends. He imagined the people he could protect. The darkness receded slightly. The arena pulsed, sensing his resolve, testing him harder. Then he felt something touch his arm. Not a shadow, not a weapon, but a guiding force. He looked down and saw the Queen's hand, glowing faintly, reaching for him. He realized that she, too, was testing him, not to hurt him, but to see how far he would go. "Do not fear what is not real," she said softly. "Fear is a tool. Fear is a shadow. You must use it, or it will consume you." Daniel nodded, though she could not see him well in the darkness. He continued walking. The images changed rapidly, his worst memories, his deepest fears, and even visions of the people he loved most in danger. He felt the fear, but he did not stop. He could feel the Queen's presence beside him, guiding but never touching, allowing him to face it all alone. Hours seemed to pass. Time lost meaning. Daniel's muscles ached, his body trembled, but his mind grew stronger. The arena shifted one final time, showing a vision of the future, a galaxy at war. Humans fighting desperately, Solari fleets moving against them. It was terrifying, hopeless even. Daniel clenched his fists. "We will survive," he said aloud. "No matter what, no matter who stands against us. We will survive." The arena pulsed brightly. The visions shattered. Darkness disappeared. The floor under his feet became solid again. The lights returned to normal. The Queen's armor shone softly, calm and steady. Daniel breathed heavily, sweat dripping down his face. He had made it through. Queen Alira stepped closer, her silver blue eyes bright. "You have passed the first test," she said. "Few humans could have done what you just did. Most would have fallen to fear, or panic, or despair. You are different." Daniel nodded, still catching his breath. "I am not perfect," he said. "I just keep moving forward." Alira smiled faintly. "Exactly. That is what makes humans dangerous. You do not need power, or fleets, or weapons to survive. You need courage, will, and the determination to keep going." For the first time, Daniel saw a hint of respect in her eyes. It was subtle, but it was there. A powerful queen, who had conquered worlds, was respecting him not because he had strength, but because he had heart. "Come," she said. "There are more lessons to learn." This was only the beginning. The galaxy is not forgiving. To survive, you must not only fight your fears, you must also understand the fears of others. Daniel followed her down the corridor, exhausted but alert. He realized that the challenge was not only about surviving illusions. It was about understanding life, courage, and what it meant to be human in a galaxy filled with monsters, aliens, and empires. As they walked, the Queen spoke softly. "Most humans would have run or frozen. You faced everything. That is why I invited you here. That is why I watch you. You are unusual." Daniel allowed himself a small smile. "I only do what I must. That is what humans do." Alira's smile widened slightly. "Perhaps, or perhaps your kind has something more. Something I do not yet fully understand. We will see." The corridors of the Solari ship were quiet now. Daniel felt a strange mixture of fear and pride. He had survived the Shadow Arena, but he knew the challenges ahead would be harder. He had faced fear, but he had also learned that courage was more than fighting, it was protecting, enduring, and moving forward when all hope seemed lost. The Queen's ship pulsed gently around them, alive and aware. Daniel realized that this was not just a test of strength, but a test of spirit. And as he walked beside the most powerful alien in the galaxy, he felt something he had never felt before, the quiet thrill of being truly tested, and the hope that he could rise above it for the first time. Daniel understood why humans could survive against odds that seemed impossible. It was not their weapons, not their numbers, not even their ships. It was their heart, and he was ready to show the Queen and the galaxy exactly what that heart could do. After the Shadow Arena, Daniel Brooks felt both exhausted and alive. His muscles ached. His mind raced. But he had learned something important. Fear was only as strong as the will that faced it. He had survived illusions, images, and even visions of failure, but the challenge had not ended. The Queen's eyes followed him constantly, and he knew she was testing more than his courage. She was studying him, learning about humanity. Queen Alira led him through the corridors of her ship. The hall seemed alive, the walls pulsing faintly with energy. Occasionally, Daniel glimpsed other Zalari moving silently, their armor shining softly under the lights. The ship was enormous, bigger than any human starship he had seen. Yet, despite its size, there was a strange grace to it. It moved like a living creature, responding to the people inside it. "You are tired, human," Alira said softly, "but this is not the time to rest. There are questions I wish to ask, and lessons I wish to show you." Daniel nodded, though he wished he could sit. "I am ready, Your Majesty," he said. "I will do whatever you ask." Alira's eyes seemed to flicker with amusement. "You are different from others. Most humans would have begged for rest after the Shadow Arena. You keep moving forward." Daniel shrugged. "Fear and pain are part of life. We do not let them stop us." She paused, studying him carefully. "I want to understand your kind. Humans are unpredictable, reckless, and small. Yet, you have survived countless enemies and disasters. How?" Daniel thought for a moment. "We fight for more than ourselves," he said. "We fight for our families, our friends, our homes. And we fight for hope, even when hope seems impossible. That is why we survive." Alira's expression softened slightly, and yet most humans are weak. Many fall quickly when tested. "That is true," Daniel admitted. "But the ones who do not give up, they change everything." She seemed to consider his words. "Perhaps you are not like most humans. You are curious, brave, and resilient. I will test this further." They reached a large observation room. Alira gestured to the window. Beyond the glass, the galaxy stretched endlessly. Stars, planets, and glowing nebulae filled the view. Daniel felt a sense of wonder and smallness all at once. "This," she said, "is the galaxy as we see it. Millions of worlds, countless lives, and yet so fragile." Daniel leaned on the railing, looking at the vastness of space. "It is beautiful," he said quietly, "but it is dangerous too. We have learned that the hard way." Alira nodded. "Danger is everywhere. My people have ruled many worlds, and we have learned to survive by controlling fear and power. Yet I see in you something different, a strength that does not rely on power. Why does your kind fight, even when the odds are against you?" Daniel smiled faintly. "Because we have to. We cannot give up. Even when everything seems lost, we keep trying. That is the human way." Alira looked at him, her silver blue eyes reflecting starlight. "You speak of hope. That is rare in the galaxy. Most races abandon hope when it is easiest to give up." Daniel shrugged. "We may be small, but we believe in what we can do. Even if it seems impossible, we try. And sometimes that is enough." She was quiet for a long time, watching him. Then she said, "I will take you to Earth. You will show me the world that produced your kind. Perhaps then I will understand." Daniel's eyes widened. "You want to come to Earth? That is dangerous. My world is not ready for an alien queen." Alira's smile was faint. "I am aware of the risk, but I must see it for myself. I must understand why your kind has survived against all odds." The next day, they prepared for departure. Daniel accompanied her to a smaller shuttle designed for long-distance travel. The ship's technology was far beyond human designs. The walls seemed alive, reacting to their thoughts and movements. Daniel marveled at how smoothly everything worked. As they left the Zalari ship, Daniel noticed something in Alira's expression. It was not anger, curiosity, or amusement, something else. She was thoughtful, almost vulnerable. He realized that even a queen, commanding millions, could be uncertain when facing something she did not understand. The trip to Earth was long. Daniel spent the hours explaining humanity, its history, its struggles, and its triumphs. Alira listened silently, rarely interrupting. Occasionally, she asked questions, trying to understand human logic, human emotion, and human resilience. "You fight against so many enemies," she said, "and yet you survive. Is it only courage?" Daniel shook his head. "Courage is part of it, but not all. We survive because we care. We fight for more than ourselves, and we never stop, even when the odds are impossible. Alira was silent for a long time. I see, she finally said. You are unusual, human. Most of your kind would not last 10 minutes in the shadow arena. You lasted hours. You protected others while facing your fears. That is impressive. Daniel smiled faintly. It is not about being impressive. It is about doing what is right. That is all. When they approached Earth, Alira's ship slowed. She observed silently as the blue planet grew larger in the window. Cities, oceans, and clouds were visible from space. The lights of human settlements flickered like fireflies in the darkness. This is your world, she said softly. It looks alive. It is alive, Daniel said. It is fragile, but it has survived a lot, and it will continue to survive. Alira's eyes followed the continents, her armor glowing softly in reflection. I want to see it. I want to see how your kind lives, how your kind thinks, how you manage to survive when everything is against you. Daniel nodded. I will show you. But you must be careful. Humans are wary of outsiders, even friendly ones. She inclined her head. I will be careful. I am not here to conquer. I am here to learn. They landed near a human city. Daniel guided her through the streets. People stared, unsure what to make of her. Some ran in fear, others froze in awe. Alira did not react with anger or force. She moved gracefully, observing quietly. Children peeked from behind corners. Daniel smiled at them. Do not be afraid, he said. She is our guest. The queen looked at the children and then back at Daniel. Your kind protects others, even strangers. That is different. Most species care only for themselves. Daniel nodded. We have to, otherwise, nothing would survive. They walked through parks, markets, and neighborhoods. Alira noticed how humans built and rebuilt, even after disasters. She saw laughter among people who had known pain. She saw teamwork, courage, and kindness in small actions. Your people are strong in ways my empire has forgotten, she said quietly. Daniel smiled. We survive not because we are the strongest, but because we care. And we never stop trying. As they watched the sun set over the city, Alira asked, And what will happen if my people attack Earth? Daniel's jaw tightened. Then we will fight. We will protect our home. That is what humans do. We do not give up, no matter who comes against us. She studied him for a long moment. I see now. That is why I invited you here. Not for war, but for understanding. Humans are more than I expected. The night fell, and the stars appeared in the sky. Daniel looked up and felt the weight of responsibility. He knew the future of Earth, of humanity, and of the galaxy depended on courage, will, and wisdom. Alira watched silently. For the first time, she saw humans not as weak, as small, or as expendable, but as a force that could endure, survive, and even change the galaxy. And Daniel understood something important. This was not just about surviving the shadow arena. It was about showing a powerful queen what humanity truly was. It was about hope, courage, and heart. As they returned to the shuttle, Daniel looked at Alira. You have seen Earth, he said. But there is more you will need to understand. There are threats coming, and humanity must be ready. Alira's eyes gleamed. Then you will teach me. Together, perhaps, we can prepare for what is coming. Daniel nodded. He felt a strange sense of pride, not for himself, but for his kind. Humans were not perfect. They had flaws, weaknesses, and fear, but they also had courage, heart, and the will to endure. And sometimes, that was enough to change the course of the galaxy. The Queen ship lifted from Earth silently. Daniel looked out the window, seeing the planet's lights fade into distance. He knew challenges awaited them, dangers beyond imagination. But he also knew that humanity, with courage and will, could survive anything. And beside him, Queen Alira's armor pulsed softly. Her presence was a reminder that even the most powerful beings could learn something from a human. The journey was far from over, but Daniel Brooks felt ready. He would face whatever came next. He would show the galaxy the strength of humanity, and the Queen, silent but attentive, began to understand why.